Welcome to the Nexus Unloaded podcast. This is Will Crozier.
And I'm Nikki Westcombe. We are the founders of Nexus Performance. Joining us on this wild ride is our heavyweight coaching team, ready to unleash their expertise to solve any problems in your journey to getting strong and jacked.
Through our real-world experience, we hope to break things down in a digestible, applicable, and entertaining way.
So pump up the volume and let's get into this.
One question I got asked by a dude in the gym yesterday was, he's like, man, how do you feel? Like when you're prepping for comps and that, how do you feel? And he looked like kind of worried. And I was like, honestly, man, not fucking good. Like I'm beat up. My knees are sore. My shoulders are sore. I'm fatigued. I'm tired. I'm sick of like not eating shit. So much is going on. And I kind of said that, and there's like a relief on his face. And he was like, oh, thank God. Because I feel like crap. And he was like, but he said, he's like, nobody at that level ever talks about feeling like shit. Everyone's feeling like great on Instagram, and like nobody's posting
the highlight reel.
It is a highlight reel.
So I feel like we need to bring that more.
I put up a post a while ago I did a 300 kilo squat for 10 reps. That was like my most ever. That was when I was fucking jacked and everything.
Yeah. 125 days.
Yeah, fat bastard.
Yeah.
I was as wide as I am tall.
We've both been there.
Yeah, and I think I was a lot fatter than what you were, but
You haven't seen the photos.
No, okay. No, I haven't.
He was round.
Watermelon face.
Right.
That was
I called him Buffalo Bill.
Yeah.
That was what the last pro was meant to be for me. The COVID pro.
Right. And then I put up a post saying how I hated every moment of this, except for the moment that it was done.
Mm.
It's like the accolade of what you've done. That's what I do it for. It's like when you walk away, it's like that is like you feel amazing about what you've just accomplished. But actually walk into the session, I've got 5 guys and girls standing around me, all anxious, all stressed out. They're all getting out of my way because they don't want to put me off or anything like that. Everyone's stressed. It's not enjoy. Like I'm scared shitless the entire session. I've got to do a few nervous poos before I start. I don't like it.
That's good.
Objectively, I hated it. But then once it was the feeling of doing the first rep, feeling how hard the first rep is and knowing you got to do 9 more, fuck, I fucking hated it. Like you do the first rep and it's like, cunt, bang, again. And you are fucked.
Yeah.
And then once it's done, it's just like, oh, this is why I do it. And I put that up there saying how much I fucking hated that feeling. And then I had, what's his name? PH Deadlift.
Ben Pollack.
Ben Pollack.
Oh, Ben Pollack.
Ben Pollack. He ranted about me. He's like, this guy's wrong because I don't even follow him. This guy's wrong because this, that, and the other.
You should enjoy it.
You should love what you do and all of these things. And I was thinking, hey, dude, this is my feelings, man. You know what I mean? Like this is how I felt about it. I didn't tell anyone that they're bad people for feeling in a different way. You know what I mean? But it's like, and I'm like, I'm sure that I'm not the only person that experiences this. And then I found a quote by Muhammad Ali talking about, I hated every moment of it. Talking about his training. It was the hardest thing in my life. I hated every single moment on it. I forget what the remainder of it was, but winning was what he did it for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that's pretty common. I don't know. For me, it was always like that. People would ask me like, why do you do powerlifting? And it's the competition. I don't know. I really enjoyed competing and, getting
specifically against you.
The day,
totally, right?
Yeah. Well, the day itself was just like such a fun time. And if I could compete every weekend, I would. Yeah. But obviously powerlifting, a little hard.
Of course.
Yeah. The day itself, you do thrive. Like you become a completely different person on comp day.
Yeah. It's time to show all that work.
It's an incredible experience.
The week to week stuff, I'm with you.
Well, even on the competition day, I'm fucking nervous as shit.
Yeah.
And everyone at the highest level is as well.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy that. Like there's so much I enjoy, and there's so much that it's just like when I go and coach, I walk in and I watch everyone nervous and I go, glad I'm not competing today. You schmucks have to deal with this now, not me.
Yeah.
I've got the easy job.
I feel like when I started, so whatever, 10 years ago, in competing that is, I was the same. I hated the butterfly would come and you'd be like, oh, is this normal?
Yeah.
Like I feel like anxious, like, I don't know, kind of like, I don't like this feeling. But then within the last few years, when those butterflies came on, I'm like, let's go.
This is what it's about.
This is what it's about. But that's what it means to be experienced.
It's just a difference in managing it.
Understanding that that's part of it. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Hey, let's put this conversation on.
We are.
Yeah.
Oh, we're already on.
We're
there.
on.
Oh,
we're on,
okay.
mate.
We've started. How good's that? All right. What an intro.
There we go.
Well, yeah, we should probably do a little intro, shouldn't we?
I think everybody knows
I don't
who we're
think
with
we
right
need
now.
much of an introduction.
Yeah. So we've made a pit stop on our way to Newcastle this weekend for GPC Nationals. So I've got a bit of a team there, and I really wanted to compete because Newcastle is kind of where I'm from. The
Inland
closest,
Newcastle.
Yeah, the closest city. I just say that so people don't know the embarrassment of Muswellbrook. But no, Newcastle. I was looking forward to competing back there, but unfortunately, just life, business, everything that's going on, stuff that you would be well aware of, has kind of got in the way of that. But we're still going down to the coach. So a handful of athletes to handle over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
You wanted to jump on just to get one more comp in for the year.
Yeah.
Because obviously you did pro roll this year and you hit, what did you hit, 935, 940 or something like that? And that was like an introduction back into competing again. And you're like, oh, I want to get one more up my sleeve.
Speaking of being nervous, like before that, I was the most nervous I've been since the first comp that I ever did.
For that pro roll?
Yeah, the one this year.
You know, that's the only pro roll that I was cheering for you.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
I know it's a hard one. But, no,
normally it's like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, speaking about like, you know, the warm-up room differences, like you've mentioned you were really nervous and stuff, like whenever you compete. Like I remember at your pro rolls, you guys were at opposite ends of the warm-up room. Like you were in wherever Will was, you were in the different direction to Will, and Will's like, oh well, like you're hanging out with like Nathan Jones and that sort of thing. You guys used to talk a lot of shit. And
Nathan Jones used to talk shit to everyone. He still does, man.
That's one of the biggest things that I noticed on the first time I came to pro roll. He came up to me and started giving me advice on my squats, and I'm like,
yeah, stop.
Like I'm not taking on advice from a competitor. Firstly,
yeah.
But secondly, I'm not changing my game plan now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then I realized this guy is such a legend.
Yeah.
He's such a good bloke. He was just being a really good bloke.
Yeah.
Or taking a piss. One of the two.
I don't know.
Trying to sabotage you.
I didn't. At first, that's what I thought. Like maybe people are talking to me to try and sabotage. Like that sounds like a logical thing to do. But then no, he definitely wasn't.
No.
And that's just his personality, as you guys know. But actually, that's my strategy in my competitions.
Yeah.
Is especially I'm going there. It's not pro roll me against everyone else. It's me against Will Crozier.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know what? That is right. I don't remember exactly, but now when you say it like that, I was on one end and Will was on the other because I don't want to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because I don't want that to change my game plan. I had my game plan, and that's probably something that I always think of. It's like whenever I see someone, you know, you warming up with a heavyweight, it's like, fuck, he might be going for this opener.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to change my strategy. And I knew that my strategy was good.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing. That's powerlifting. You can't really react. You can just do.
You can only really play that game until the last
deadlift.
The last thing. Which
Unfortunately,
no, you can blame Thomas for that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's like the big advantage you have having a strong deadlift for me.
Yeah. Every point counted, like every kilo
I've
counted.
always said powerlifting is unfortunately it's just biased to the way of deadlifting.
Totally.
Having if it was the other way around, I think it would have been a very different
Could
story.
you
a lot of
imagine
the
if
time.
squats were last? Like that would have been
terrible. But
it is in the right order.
Yeah,
it is in the right order for many reasons.
It is biased. Is it like I'll absolutely admit that if you've got a bigger deadlift,
it's a big upper hand in strategy,
absolutely
in game plan and strategy.
Yeah,
but my strategy going into in our last competition, like you know what it's like. I follow your lifting training very closely, and vice versa, leading up to the competition. And you know, I chose a weight thinking, I think that Will's best deadlift ever that I thought he was going to get on this day was 385.
Yeah.
And I made him do, with my second attempt,
382.
I made him do 382. And the fact that he's going to be a 385 deadlifter, he's not going to do that 2 times in a row. So I go, you know what?
I think you're pretty right.
Yeah, I'm just going to put 330 on.
I didn't want to.
Which is going to take him above that 385 that I thought he could have done if he was fresh, but he's not fresh because he's just done 382.
And he's failed his first 2 squats and his first 2 benches.
You look at the... like I don't think you put up, I think it was other people, but people have put up on YouTube videos of that day, and there's comments, and they're like, "Fuck, why didn't Basswood do a 5 kilos more deadlift? He definitely had it." And to me, I'm like, it doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't.
Like you have to. You're playing it like it's chess. Like you're playing one move at a time.
Yeah.
Like looking back on it, fucking oath.
Hindsight's
You
a
had
bitch.
more. Yeah.
Hindsight's a bitch. But at the same time, I'm going to tell you something. I've tried to do those 5 kilos more in the past and missed it. So I'm like,
you choose the safer option.
Yeah. What if
100%.
I try this and I miss it? Like I thought that it was a really safe option to force you to do 387.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think you could do.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and probably neither did you. But you just had to fucking do it, right?
Yeah.
But that was my chess piece, and
Absolutely.
it was the wrong one on the day. It could have really gone either way.
I would have done the same thing though.
Yeah.
If I was in your shoes, I would have done the same thing because like my strategy in all of our comps that we did was like all I need to do is put the pressure on the other person, which was most time you.
Yeah.
And I need to put the ball in your court and make you put the pressure on you. So you have to make
you
it.
have to you have to stay up with him. Like, because obviously you had the bigger squat and the bigger bench.
You had to make the unsafe decisions. You had to take the risks, not me. That was always it. So I would have done the same thing.
You had to be within a
me
ballpark.
Take the risk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. When I see those comments, I'm just like, you just don't know.
No, exactly. There's always going to be comments. You can't please everybody, but that's how it goes. And that's I've learned to detach myself from the emotional side of listening to what the public have to say, who weren't there.
You'd have to with your platform.
Well, that's what happens. The more people you're exposed to, the more negativity you see as well. So that's what you have to do: is get a little bit thicker skin and just learn to just go, oh, cool, it's just another opinion, whatever, and just take it as that's not going to influence my decisions moving forward. Yeah. I've got pretty good perspective on what I'm going to be doing moving forward, but it's nice to know that people have an opinion too.
Yeah. I think another thing, like from that particular day itself, obviously, like Will had a shocking comp, failing his first 2 squats and first 2 benches. Like mentally coming into that, you have to take that into consideration as well. Like not only is he physically fucked, but mentally he's feeling the pressure. You were like 60-something kilos ahead at that point. And he had so many people walking up to him being like, bro, are you okay? Are you all right? Maybe you should like talking about giving advice during on the comp day.
I don't want to hear it.
Should do this instead.
Yeah.
The only person's voice I wanted to hear was Mikki's voice and Thomas's.
You didn't want to hear me after the first squats because I was having a panic attack out the back.
Yeah, but that's right.
You didn't want to be around me.
That's right.
It was a good experience. It was a good day.
Yeah,
it was good
fun.
memory.
What's your favorite comp? Like if you had to pick a favorite, like just in terms of
it'd have to be that one. 100% it was that one because there's a few things like although I didn't win it, I know that like you're the main person. You're the only person that's ever challenged me in these. Like, I don't want to say it in that way. Like, I went against Tom Martin.
Yeah.
I believe.
Pumba at Pro Roll 8 too.
Say that again.
Pumba at Pro Roll 8.
Pumba, but Pro Roll 8, I didn't come to do anything good. I didn't know anything.
Did all right.
I ended up coming second.
Yeah, you beat Will.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going to happen. I came into to actually, there was a few people I just thought, maybe I'll get on the podium.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I just want to. I just want to actually just show that I've earned my stripes to be here.
Yeah.
Right. I had no expectation. And to come second was a surprise, but I actually didn't care because I knew I wasn't going to come first. This was in my early days. This was like,
well and truly could have.
I could have if Pumba missed that deadlift.
Yeah.
So
I thought there was no chance he was going to get. I don't know about you on the day, but I remember thinking to myself, and I was saying to Thomas, like, no chance.
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought. I was like. And I didn't know because that was my strategy. Remember, I don't want to talk to anyone. So I was sitting in the corner, literally with my face against the wall.
Yeah.
And that was my team saying, "Don't worry, what's happening here." So I'd look against the wall, and then it was my turn to lift. I'd go. And then when it came to the deadlifts, my wife came to me going, "You're going to win."
Yeah.
I go, "What do you mean?"
Yeah.
She goes, "This guy has to get 352 to beat you."
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's gonna fucking miss it.
Yeah, no way.
I'm gonna win. What?
Yeah.
You know. And anyway, whatever. I wasn't unhappy. I've never really been. Of course, I've been disappointed. To not win. Of course, you go in it and you want to win.
Yeah.
Exactly,
but at the same time, this one that wasn't my main goal. But anyway, I've never really been in a position where I thought this is mine, except for the last one. And actually. Some of my favorite, like that squat that I did. So that was a 375 kilogram squat. For me, that's why it was my happiest experience. Squat is my favorite lift.
Yeah.
To get that was the Australian record at the time.
Yeah.
375 kilograms. I remember looking at it from years ago. I was watching Nathan Jones. I'd never heard of him, but then I saw he won one of the Pro Rolls with a 370 kilogram squat. And I looked at it going, how's anyone going to compete with this? You can't get 370. That's just impossible.
I know, right?
So I looked at it, it's like, fuck, I don't want to be in that weight class because I can't go anywhere near these guys. You know what I mean? They're just way too strong. And then, you put in the work year after year and you just advance slowly. And then all of a sudden I was in a position where I was like, I'm here now.
Yeah.
This is it. You know what I mean? So I came in and I got that 375 squat. And that's a large part of the reason why I loved that competition as well. And it was a good day. There was a lot of good lifts, a good competition. Yeah, that's definitely my favorite comp.
Yeah. I remember at Pro 8, like just thinking about memories of competitions with you and the rest of the people, obviously. But I remember at Pro 8, for yourself, because unlike you, I was coming in and going like, this guy's going to go really well. Even if you didn't believe it. But then I remember in the warm-up room, because the warm-up room was much smaller, more tight, heaps of people around, that I'm pretty sure I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, but you failed like one of your warm-ups.
Yeah.
And I remember you'd like jumped out from it.
Yep.
Because no one was spotting you because it was a warm-up, right?
290 kilos, but it was a bad strategy. And this was a huge lesson to the way that I coach and the way that I live today. I came into that competition and I felt on. I felt strong. And my strategy was to open on, it was like a 300 kilogram squat. And and everything was strong and fast. So I was like, I'm going to attack this squat. So I was really dive bombing my squats, which was different to how I was training it. But I was so confident that I was strong and this is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So I dive bombed that 290 and dumped it. And I just went,
So did the rest of the room.
And I'm just like, what? I go, no, actually, I planned on opening a little bit more. I think I planned on opening 310. I'm like, change my open to 300. I'm not going to miss. I've done 300 so many times. I'm not going to miss 300 in front of this audience. So when I look back at the videos, it was slow, controlled. And then I just went, boom.
Yeah.
And I just went, okay.
We're on.
310. I was still quite nervous with it. And I went up in, no, I went 300, 320 and same thing. And I went 330 was my third attempt. And I smoked all of them with more in the tank. And I was just like, big lesson to me. Fast isn't better.
Fast isn't better for sure. Yeah, in powerlifting, like people go, you want to be faster so you get more power. But I've always taught it as like control comes before power. Like if you have more power and you can't control it, who cares? Useless.
100%.
But like after that, I did teach mental lessons as well. Because I don't think I've ever failed a warm-up attempt, but I think if I did, I'd be shitting my pants. Like I guess you were.
Same as
I was majorly. But then it was a confidence booster. When I got the 330. And then moving forward, that like what did that do for me for the rest of the competition? I was good. I was on. And then I bench pressed well. And I actually bench pressed the 5 kilogram PB, which was 230 kilograms on that day.
And then that epic finale on the deadlift.
And then my deadlift, I think I did, I wouldn't have, maybe 310.
Literally,
I forget. It wasn't.
I'm pretty sure there was all four of us could have won on that last deadlift from memory.
Yeah.
You guys were 2.5 kilos apart, but you were lighter than Nathan Jones. So you were heavier than Nathan.
From body weight. Yeah. So if I got 2.5 kilos more on any of the lift, I would have jumped from fourth to second.
Yeah.
That's how close it is.
Right.
Which is just crazy.
I remember that comp because you hold Thomas against. You hold something against.
I always blame Thomas because I did a shit second on my bench press.
190 or something like that.
For some reason, I always smash my opener, and then I get to the second, and I'm like, I've got this, and then I screw it up, and then it gets to the third, and I have to take it a little bit more conservatively, and it's always annoyed me. But I remember that's what happened, and then Thomas is like, "No, we'll go conservative for the third." And he put in 197 from a bench press. I really wanted 200.
Oh, damn it.
And then so at the end of the comp, I was like, if I hit that 200, which I should have. Yeah. So I always
So not only did he take away your first 200 kilo bench, he also took away a podium placing.
But what's 197? That's not even a number.
I know, right?
Oh, my goodness.
Thomas. Useless coach. Don't listen to him.
But getting into some coaching stuff, I think we should probably talk a little bit about like moving people away, because you guys have just been talking a lot about like competitive lifting and stuff like that, and how exciting powerlifting is as a sport. But I think we should probably get into like introducing general population to powerlifting and not necessarily deeming powerlifting as a competition or a sport, but just something to do as a hobby or something for fun or whatever. Like there's a lot of like hobby bodybuilders and stuff out there, but they don't necessarily view that style of training is like, I have to go and step on stage or something. So how would you sort of Because I know you're moving a lot more into like the general strength.
I used to do both ends of it.
Well, the
Both
thing
ends
is,
are hard.
the fact is, I've gotten to a point in my career. I'm 41 years old now, and for me to be competitive at those levels with the numbers that we were doing at that time, I need to put in a lot of time. I don't just, I can't just come in and compete and hit those numbers. No way. Like,
no chance.
I got to really prioritize that, and that means less time is spent on business and family.
Yeah.
So I just made the commitment saying, when I hit 40 years old, I'm done.
Yeah.
So that's why I've gone down the other path of doing a little bit more general strength. I still love powerlifting. So
yeah, of course.
I do powerlifting as a hobby now.
Yeah.
Because I don't compete with powerlifting.
Yeah.
But the reason why I did it initially is because I never thought of being a powerlifter. I just thought, I love the idea of competition, but I'm not a good athlete. I'm not a good, martial artist. I'm not a good basketballer or footy player or any of those things. But I want to compete in something. I train weights every day, and I do squat, bench press, and deadlift in my training for hypertrophy. That was my original goal, was to look good.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, you know what, maybe if I just practice those a lot, I can be good at that and just do a powerlifting competition. So I originally did that as a hobby. It's like, I love playing my sport, which is lifting weights, and I'd love to compete in something.
Yeah.
So that's why I started. And that's exactly the same reason and the message that I try and give to a lot of the people that I work with, because I know what it's done to me. Like if there was no such thing as that competition, I wouldn't have reached the levels that I did reach.
Yep.
I'd just be plodding along and training, which is what majority of the world are actually doing.
Yep.
They just go into the gym and aimlessly training and hope for the best. They want to get, I don't know, leaner, stronger, more muscular, and all of these things. Yep. But when you've actually got a competition and a specific date to train for, there's no doubt about it. You step it up.
Yeah.
You achieve a lot better results. And this is what I try and teach my hobbyists or Gen Pop gym goers to not just come into the gym and just let the time go by.
Yeah.
You want to step it up with your training? Do a competition. This is what I love about these beginner competitions. What are
novice
they?
Comps.
The novice competitions. It just introduces people. Like there's so many people that you don't even have to wear the soft suit. You can wear your just shorts and t-shirt and you just
whatever you normally train in.
Whatever you normally train in, and you go in, and it gives you the taste of competition, the taste of the nerves and lifting it in front of a crowd.
Because competing is a skill. You guys have literally just talked about that. Like competing.
There's tactics. There's a mental game to it. There's all these different
handling
sides,
your nerves, handling that adrenaline, handling your attempt selections, all that sort of stuff. Like
it doesn't have to be that without
it doesn't.
The benefit, as you say. We hosted a charity event last weekend. That was novice, I guess, in nature. Everybody's rocking up in their normal
gear. I know
gear.
You do one as like a deadlift charity event for, I think it's kids or something like that, isn't it?
We did one. So it was a brain cancer foundation.
Yeah.
We did that not too long ago. It was meant to be a seminar, actually. It wasn't really a competition.
Okay.
We didn't get too many strong lifters coming in. So
it's
like,
but it's not, it's more just like introducing people to like
totally
hitting a strong 1RM or an AMRAP set or something like that just gives them something, a date to work towards, I guess, at the end of the day.
We let people use straps. We let people use, there's one guy in a deadlift suit, whatever, just rock up, have fun, lift a lot of weight. And most of the people there weren't powerlifters.
Yeah.
They just trained at our gym and just kind of like just do it to be strong generally. And like you said, I don't think a lot of them would have ever got to that strength without having a goal, a goalpost.
And I think as well, something that I love about those events is because, you and I, we've got a lot of experience in competition, watching people for the first time and just watching people's behavior. I find it cute. I find it funny, but I understand it because I've been there myself, where you just think the whole world rests on this moment.
Yeah.
And, it's like, it's not that important, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to put effort into it, but no one expects you to break a world record today. Lose the pressure. The idea of it is
take the ego out of it.
Totally. And it's just to learn. So I'm not sure if you're recording this part when you were talking about the experience in feeling the nerves. At first, what your experience was, but I'll say mine. Oh man, my nerves got the better of me so badly. But the better I got at competing, I never got less nervous. I just knew more that that's part of it. That's what's supposed to be there. And this is how you work through it.
Yeah.
So I think
you had different strategies to manage it and not let it get the better of you.
Exactly. Which is why we encourage people to compete more, is to learn about those things. So, I love the nerves.
Yeah.
it's just part of it. But at first, it was debilitating.
Yeah.
When you first entered your first comp, what was your first comp?
My first comp was IPF. It was at Adonis Athletics, which is Amir Fazeli's.
Yeah,
yep.
Love it.
In the 93 class.
Yeah.
You should have seen
Skinny
the
mini.
videos. Yeah, I was skinny mini.
Are you
It was
even 93
embarrassing.
kilos now?
I'm 100.
Yeah.
Not going back.
Less than 100, so that's not male anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you hit double digits, you got a problem.
I have to, double digits?
Yeah.
That's when I have to change my gender.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is normal, isn't it?
That's all right.
I get a large amount of options to choose from with the genders as well, but we won't go down that category. I'll stay male
for sure.
I'll stay male. 100 kilograms. That's me right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, 93 kilograms.
Yeah.
And I look back at my so it was a 230 kilogram squat, which was a PB for me at the time. I was so happy with it. 230 kilogram squat, and I watched my face, the intensity.
Yeah.
I thought I was pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
And it's like, settle down, tiger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, not knocking people for squatting 230 kilograms. It's a heavy weight, but just watching how I handled myself.
Did you go into that comp to win? Did you go on to win?
I won, but no, I didn't.
Yeah.
That was my first ever competition. And I went into that comp, because I love training, and I was talking about, I wanted something. I loved competition, but also because I started training professional athletes around that time. And something that I believe in as a coach is you should be able to empathize with the people that you work with.
Mm-hmm.
And that means being competitive. So for me, as I said, I wasn't competitive in any other sport. What could I compete in? Powerlifting. I want to show my athletes the same level of respect. If I'm asking them to push hard, I want to show them, look, I do it too. So that was me kind of earning my own stripes in the world of competition again.
Yeah.
And that's why I did that competition. So I came in just to show people I know how to train. I know how to, program for an event in a certain time.
Yeah. You got to walk the walk a bit.
Exactly. And then step up to the occasion. So I actually did come first. It was 230 squat. I think it was a 155 bench and a 250 deadlift, which were all PBs for me. I hadn't done any of those, which was such a fun day for me.
Yeah.
I got drug tested.
Hey.
Yeah, and I thought I was so cool. I'm like, they think I'm on the roids.
You must have looked too jacked.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly.
It wasn't just to look at your people. That's what I really think.
Yeah, I know.
What was that to look at the PP?
Yeah, they do. They stand in like right next to you too.
They want to check out
a
your
bit
dom.
personal. Yeah,
they have to look right at your penis.
Right on it.
It's like, hey, dude.
It's the rule. Sorry.
Hey, and then I've had the cup with my peers. I'm like, what do you want with this now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, I don't want to touch
It's
it.
a bit awkward. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I was the opposite to me. Because I went into the comp and I'm like looking up everybody's Instagram. Like, who am I competing against? Oh, yeah, fuck him up. Yeah.
Had a
Yeah.
checklist.
Yeah, I did.
Who am I going to kneecap today?
No, I was like, I don't know. I don't know why I was so competitive in that first comp. Like, because I had 2 years of bodybuilding before it.
Yeah.
So I kind of already, I guess, had a bit of competitiveness there.
Can I just interrupt you? So the first competition that I saw you in, you remember how I was saying I just had my face against the wall?
Yeah.
So I didn't see anyone that I was competing against. I didn't see you until the next day. And you're in the casino at Crown in the breakfast bar.
Yep.
And I saw this. I thought you were a bodybuilder. I'm going, who's that Jack dude? Maybe he's competing today.
Yeah.
And one of my team goes, nah, that's Will. You competed against him yesterday. I go, what weight class?
I think
And
that
they
was
go, yours.
Alex.
I'm like, yeah, it would have been Alex.
Yeah.
And God.
Yes.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
goes, you competed against him yesterday? I go, what weight class? Because I thought you were twice my size.
Yeah.
I'm going, because all I saw was this neck and traps.
Yeah, this head.
Sitting behind your eggs
Buffet.
and breakfast eating.
Yeah.
I'm like, I remember walking past going, who's that guy? He's going to be bodybuilding today. He looks sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, bit off topic.
That
could have been
was
there.
Pro Raw 8. Yeah.
That was Pro Raw 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the next couple of comps, I tried to gain muscle into it, and it got even harder.
Yeah,
we
right.
stayed at the
point of-
casino on I remember that we stayed at the casino because Will won an eating contest the year before and we had
My proudest
$1,000
achievement.
credit.
Nice.
So Will's like, what am I going to use with this
How good is
$1,000
that?
credit?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we stayed at the
Using
casino there.
Using the real sport of eating to
Yes.
to fund my hobby powerlifting.
Amazing.
Yeah, but you're talking earlier before we started recording. When you're talking about coaching and coaching skills and being in the shoes of your athletes, being able to relate to them. These days, Mikki mentioned I guess you're more like headed towards like a Gen Pop thing, but we were talking about coaching like a Thor, like a top of the line, versus your daughter at the moment as an example of that end. like those skills of being able to compete and being able to put yourself in their shoes, there has to be a difference with those two people. Like what are the skills you're teaching?
So
Thor
the fact
versus-
is, like when I work with my daughter, for example, I use that to illustrate a beginner. So when people are talking about, do you train beginners? Like I show them, look at what I'm doing with my daughter. It
Mhm.
doesn't get any more beginner than that. You know, she's 13, but I was training her since she was 7.
Yeah.
Not only is she a beginner, like I'm very invested in her being her safety and not hurting her. So a lot of people look at strength training or powerlifting saying, I don't want to do that because I don't want to injure myself. You know, these types of things. It's like, do you think I'm trying to injure my daughter? You know, like we're doing it the safe way.
You see comments on like stunting growth and hurting her back and that sort of stuff.
The
as
funny
well.
thing is she's the tallest woman in our family. Yeah. So we started, and actually I think that weight training has contributed to her growth. Yeah. So something that we can't prove,
Definitely.
but she's the tallest woman in our family.
Yeah.
It's like, how the hell did that happen? You know, and she was training well through like before and during her growth spurt. And I do think it contributes in a healthy way.
Yeah, bone density and
her bone density and her overall growth. But either way, this is what I like to do. When I first opened my gym, so that was called Base Gym, which is still Base Gym now, but this is not for public use now.
Yeah.
But it was a public space. My goal, I went into business with my wife and her sister, who are Base Body Babes. That's a women-only facility now, but it wasn't like they specialize in women, but it wasn't women only. They didn't really talk about it being a woman-only, no men.
Yeah.
And the way that we saw it was we're going to combine Australian Strength Coach with Base Body Babes, and we're going to attract all walks of life. We're going to have big, ugly, hairy, tattooed guys lifting really, really heavy weight, and you know, cute little girls all training together under the same roof. And we're going to introduce strength training to general population, and we're going to show people, and that's actually another person that I use a lot is my sister-in-law Dinny J.
Yes,
we use her as kind of like the poster girl for lifting weights doesn't make you big and bulky or ugly or any of these things. So her and I, we work very well together with a lot of our education, but that combination was the original intention. Introduce strength training, introduce powerlifting to general population to really show people that you don't have to be fat.
Yeah, show people the benefits.
Inclusivity of it.
The benefits, the inclusivity, all these amazing benefits of being strong and powerlifting. And unfortunately, we started learning that there's, especially with their audience, there's women in this world that don't want to be in the same room as us.
Yeah.
You know, for whatever reasons, intimidation, religious reasons as well. So we've now got we've separated the businesses and we've got a women's only facility where men aren't allowed up there. Mikki, have you been upstairs?
No, I haven't.
You're welcome to go, but Will, you're not. Neither am I, don't worry.
No
unless I get below 100
upstairs.
kilos.
Yeah, exactly. You got to lose a little bit of weight, and then we'll all go up together. But that's right. So that was my original intention because I know the benefits of strength training for everybody. Like I'm a Gen Pop person as well. I just put a lot of time into it, and I became more advanced. You know, I was never gifted in this way. Actually, when I first started training weights at this height, same height, I was 63 kilograms. I was a really skinny dude. And I started lifting weights because I was embarrassed to be this skinny. I went on a date with my wife. She wasn't my wife at the time. Like I was trying to pick her up. We're at the beach. And I was embarrassed to take my T-shirt off because had this little skinny body underneath. And I was like, I need to get jacked. I need to build muscle. I can't, this is not how you present yourself as a man.
Well, see, Will's too embarrassed to take his shirt off in public because he's worried
too jacked.
Everyone stares at him because he's funny looking.
They're going to think I'm too big. They're going to get scared. I know, right?
Look at me.
Yeah, you don't like it. You're like, oh, it's a bit like.
Still want to be a show
in the gym, you don't mind.
No, I like that. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of humility.
Yeah,
I quite like that, and I see that a lot with a lot of the great physiques out there. You got loose clothing, you got nothing, but actually, I think it's better because you can still see that you're jacked underneath all that.
Yeah.
You don't need to
keep
have
a little bit.
The people who know.
Yeah,
exactly. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
But you said that you like the way that you train your daughter and the way you train Thor aren't necessarily very different, which most people, I think most Gen Pop people anyway that don't know strength training would think, oh, no.
They're two different
very
beasts.
different training, very different things, very different focuses. Thor maybe does, like he's going to do a squat this way and she's going to do a squat that way, very different things. But you said earlier that they're not that different.
Exactly.
Really, at their core anyway.
So this is why I do like to have these athletes. I call my daughter my athlete, but Thor Bjornsson, world's strongest man. Yeah. He's larger than life. He's 200 kilograms, 205 kilograms at his peak. And people look at it and of course they look at it and they say, wow, that's amazing. I'd love to take a photo, but that's as far as it's going to go.
Yeah.
What he does, what he's achieved doesn't relate to me. I'll never achieve that in my wildest dreams. So I don't need to train that way. I want to train a completely different way. But then I've got my daughter, and I teach people. The techniques that she uses are the same techniques that I teach Thor. The difference with the programming, everyone's after the magic pill. What's the best program? These amazing principles.
Definitely.
Do you use bands and chains and drop sets and supersets and all of these amazing, wave loading
Tempos
and all this secret.
and
The secret recipe.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, the fact is we kind of do the same things. There's definitely a lot of differences with the amount of weight that's lifted. That's the biggest difference. But then with that comes the differences in recovery as well.
Yeah.
So as you know, the stronger you get, the heavier you can lift, the more rest you need between sets, the more rest you need between sessions. So the total amount of volume when you're peaking has to reduce a lot because you just can't recover from that much work. But you're still doing, straight sets. You don't have to do anything fancy, any great protocols.
Yeah.
Lift with high quality, with good intention, with good effort.
Yeah.
Consistently over the next, what I say is the secret formula to success is effort, consistency, and 10 years.
Yeah. Longevity.
Yeah. You put that into it and you're going to see some great things.
Yeah.
Right. And to be able to put 10 years and effort into that equation, you need to like what you do. So this is why
it isn't just grit your teeth. Because when you say that, it's like if you said no more just there, I think a lot of people would take that and go like 10 years, okay, I just need to discipline myself up and just go and try hard for 10 years.
Yeah.
But it's not that simple.
It's not, because that's exactly right. I've seen so many people come and go.
Yeah.
They didn't love what they did. Now, we spoke about that, and I'm sure we can touch up on that as well, like what it means to love what you do. But not literally. Like what we said before was I didn't love the feeling of pushing my butt off to get the last few reps of a set. In fact, I hated it. It hurt so much. And the nerves leading up to that day, like even if it's a training session, I didn't like that feeling. But what I loved was the accolade. I loved walking away from it going, damn, look at what I just achieved. This is what it's about. But that's going a little bit off tangent, but these are the things that I like to teach my general population. That's why I went down so far down that the avenue of strength. Actually, I was into hypertrophy when I told you I wanted to impress that girl.
It starts there. I think it starts there for everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, I read the Arnold Schwarzenegger encyclopedia, and I thought I knew everything there was to know about training because he was at the pinnacle of aesthetics. So no one knows more than Arnold. I don't need to read anything more. So that's all I did until the point that I plateaued. I stopped improving and I was ready to throw in the towel. I started doing martial arts. I started doing jiu-jitsu. I just thought weight training is boring. I'm just going to do it to stay healthy and whatever, just to not lose what I've gained. But I wasn't moving forward.
Yeah.
And then I was introduced to a strength coach. He was a strength coach to a South African rugby team called the Blue Bulls. I don't follow rugby, so I don't know who they are. But anyway, he had a pretty.
They're really good.
Yeah, I think so. He had that great title. He was a professional strength coach.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is interesting. I'm going to employ him to do some programming. I want to try something different. He introduced me to some very simple principles that we all do and love and apply. It's progressive overload. It was a very simple program. It was 5 sets of 5 across the board on a balanced program.
Yeah.
4 days a week. And week 1, I forget the numbers, but let's just call it 100 kilograms. Week 2, we did 105 kilograms. Week 3, 110 kilograms. And actually, after about 2 months of training with these methods, I started putting on muscle mass for the first time in a couple of years because I'd plateaued so badly. And it's like, I didn't feel like I was training harder.
Yeah.
I was just tracking my results, objectively measuring the improvements.
Yeah.
And as a result, I was building muscle again.
And you were enjoying it.
And I was loving it.
Yeah.
That's the part that I loved. I could see week to week. So I was sick of looking in the mirror before, like pinching the fat around my belly to see if I was leaner, flexing after you got a pump in the session. It's like subjectively measuring.
Seeing the number on the bar go up.
Seeing the number on the bar rather than subjectively looking in the mirror to see if you're improving. You just can't.
Yeah.
So that's what made me love training again. It's like, wow, I can really see myself improving. And that's what I loved. So that's what I thought. From day one, I'm going to teach this to the masses because I was one of the masses. I was general population. And for me to be shown those principles changed my view on life. And it was it was life-changing for me. Like my entire world is based around me getting stronger. My whole gym, my life, my whole family's jobs, my children come here. My whole life was based on the idea of I loved weight training because I love the idea of getting stronger. And that's why what I tried to introduce to the masses.
Yep.
But it's not that easy.
Yeah.
The-
Would you
Go for it.
would you actually encourage many people to, like we talked about the benefits of novice competitions and stuff like that, would you actually encourage many of those general strength people to ever compete? Like, or would you just say that, you know, the introduction to the barbell in itself is rewarding enough for a lot of people?
I'm all about happiness.
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of people, I will point them in that direction to make that decision for themselves, for sure. And I will explain the benefits of doing something like a novice comp. I think it's so
Challenging yourself, stepping out of your
challenging,
comfort zone.
so rewarding.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that it can change a lot of people's lives. So I will definitely educate people on that.
Yeah.
But I'm not hugely forceful. I talk to people that also come to me and say, I love training, but I don't want to compete.
Yeah.
You know, and then I'll step back straight away and I'll say, you don't ever have to compete.
Yeah.
To benefit from, you know, how great you can feel by being stronger, looking better, and being healthier. You know what I mean? So to answer your question, I'll point them in that direction because I do think that novice comps are doing such great things for the strength community, but the general population as well. It's really introducing, and that's another topic as well, CrossFit as well. I think CrossFit has done a great job in teaching, in bringing the masses, bringing more people into barbell sports and weight training, especially girls. A lot of girls are taking pride in, I can lift more, I can do all of these amazing movements, look how strong I am. And, you know, the trends in the gym, if people have been around for long enough, we've been doing seminars. We did a recent one with Hattie Boydell. It's called Training the Female Athlete.
Yeah.
And we did this the first time in 2016. And we were doing barbell movements, you know, squatting, deadlifting, not much benching, squatting and deadlifting. And, you know, Hattie is quite strong.
She's very strong.
Yeah.
She trains like a fucking beast too. I
She's-
couldn't keep up with her when she trains out of our gym. I'm like, oh, okay, you go do you, girl.
She's
catch up
really,
later.
really
Yeah, I'll
athletic.
catch up with you later.
She's really strong, but she's a real volume beast as well. She can kind of like handle more of everything.
Yeah, she's nuts. Yeah.
And so when we're doing the seminars back in the day, a lot of the girls were maybe getting up to 60 kilo squats and deadlifts. Anyway, the last seminar that we did here, we had girls, a number of girls doing 140 kilo deadlifts.
Yeah.
There was probably about more than 10 girls in the room. There was 40 people in the seminar. There was more than 10 girls doing over 100 kilogram squats.
Yeah.
And it's like, when did this happen? We changed the course outline because we were anticipating that a lot of the girls are probably going to be squatting 60 kilograms.
This is what a squat is.
A goblet squats, that sort of stuff.
And there were girls coming in, they're pulling out their knee sleeves and squat shoes and wrist wraps and belts, and they're putting plates and plates on the barbell. And it's like, we need to change this. We took bench press out of it because we thought girls don't like bench pressing. And then it was a 2-day seminar. And then halfway through the first day at lunchtime, this girl puts her hand up. She said, when are we going to bench press? I came only for the bench press component. I was like,
jeez.
I specifically took it out because I thought you girls hated it. I go, okay, thank you for the feedback. Let's do this. Tomorrow we're going to have it in here. I said, can I get a show of hands who wants to use the bench press the way that I like to teach it?
Yeah.
And we had more than 50% of the class raise their hands. It was like, this was a big reality check to us because things have changed.
Yeah.
So these things, these novice comps, it is people like us. It is a little bit intimidating.
Yeah.
I'm sure that you feel the same thing. People look at you and they go, like, that doesn't relate to me. Look at the size of this guy. Look at the weights that he's lifting. I could never do that. So therefore, I don't need to train that way. Slowly, I think that's changing.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, you've just shown that in the trend of the audience that you're getting. Like, it's not like it's a different audience, but they're more accepting. Like, times have changed as a whole, as in society. Like,
Exactly.
But I wonder if that'll just keep continuing as well.
I hope so.
I
hope so from a health standpoint, because it is healthy to be strong.
Yes.
You know, and to work towards something, it's so rewarding. It's so motivating. And also from our standpoint, like, we're gym owners, and it's like, we're trying to teach people, hey, guys and girls, this is a really great way of training. It benefits all of you.
It's not as scary as you think.
Yeah. And you know, it's great for business.
100%. Yeah.
Do you see, like, obviously your daughter's a bit of a different situation because you're there and you're her coach and you're encouraging it and whatnot. But do you see more younger people?
Younger girls, more specifically. Like, there's a lot of young boys in the gym
if
nowadays.
I go to World Gym, it's after school
packed
care.
with teenagers.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's like 15 kids on the leg press yelling at each other, and I'm like, oh, okay. Because I don't know when you started weight training, mine was 19, and like even then, I kind of was pulled there by a friend. But I remember if I went to the gym in high school, you get laughed at because like, who's go to the gym? You know, who's this guy think? You know, who does he think he is?
Yeah.
Whereas now, like I said, half the people in the gym, I go to 16.
Yeah.
So times have clearly changing in the time of their age, which is now relating into powerlifting records. You're seeing like all these 23-year-olds doing 400 kilo deadlifts and whatnot.
Craziness.
It's annoying.
It is a little
Fuck
bit.
that guy.
Totally. You know, and we say that in a joking way, but I totally agree with you. I'm learning as we go as well because I've got access to my 13-year-old daughter and stuff that her and her friends talk about. She's in a very unique position, my daughter, because a lot of people that age, I don't think a lot of gyms from a legal standpoint can have people under 16.
No, it's not under 16. Yeah.
Right. So she's very lucky in that way. And she's got a lot of her friends that want to come and train with her as well. So they're loving it. And I keep saying to her, you wait till you're 16, watch all of your friends. They're all going to be training and you're going to have a really great head start on these guys. So you're going to thank me later.
Head start.
Yeah, this is how I encourage her. She sees the benefits now because a lot of her friends are asking her. But that's right. So I've got her best friend has a 16-year-old brother.
Yeah, right.
And he's off with all of his mates. He comes in here every Saturday as well.
Yeah.
And of course, all they do is bench press and upper body. So I've pulled them aside. I go, Saturday session with me, you're doing squats and deadlifts.
Yeah.
You're going to thank me later.
Yeah.
You know, their legs are skinnier than
you
my
don't want
forearms.
to be that little chicken guy.
Well, that was me.
Yeah.
That was me when I first started.
Yeah.
You know, I could not be bothered doing that because people don't see that anyway. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But
now your squats are like, you know.
If in doubt, like if I have a week off and I have a chance to do one session, it's lower body day. It's squat day. I have to do that.
You know, when I got introduced to deadlifts for the first time by my friend, because we had squatted, I think it was the day or 2 days beforehand for the first time ever. And I remember my legs were just like jelly. And I'm like, oh, this is terrible. And I was complaining to him. And he's like, wait until we do deadlifts. And tomorrow, and he made it sound like this big, scary thing. And I was like, deadlift, like the name itself is kind of like shit.
Yeah. So
that was my introduction to it. I remember being so scared of like the name deadlift. I'm like, oh God. But all these. I'm excited to see if all these younger kids get it. Like it's all the young boys now. I get why they're doing it. But if all the chicks can do it too, like it'd be.
Yeah, sorry.
Interesting.
Sorry to cut you off there. This is, I guess, a very broad question, but like, if you could have, you know, those 16-year-old boys in here, what's like the most important piece of advice that you generally give those guys and the girls coming into it as well?
So it's the way that I teach to train every beginner, regardless of your long-term goal. So the first thing that everyone needs to do when they start training in the gym, regardless of whether you want to be a professional team sport athlete, a strength sport athlete, a bodybuilder.
Yep.
The reason why we use this room is to lift weights and get our body strong, moving well, free from injury, right? So the first thing we do is teach you how to move on the fundamental movement patterns. So day one, you know, when I first started, it was a whole bunch of bench press, you know, and then the next pec exercise and then the next pec exercise.
Yeah, you hop from machine to machine.
Yeah, but it's all on pecs. And it's like the next day you got mad pec DOMs and then you wait till you recover so you can do pecs again, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's how I did it,
Yeah.
right? And I look at it now and it's like, here's a few messages for people listening at home. Like when you're a beginner, you don't need to perform that much volume on a muscle group to get it to respond initially. Eventually, when you become more advanced, that's when you need to increase the amount of work that you apply to that movement or that muscle group to get it to respond. But initially, you don't need a huge amount of work. So what I like to teach for the absolute beginners, regardless of the age, and I'll tell you a story about this when I used one of my daughter's videos where she was teaching these principles for beginners. I had one of the men who was married to one of the women upstairs came downstairs and he said, hey man, I just wanted to let you know that I want you to thank your daughter for me. The video that she put up telling me how to train helped me because I didn't know what to do in the gym. I used to go to the gym and sit in the cardio section because I had no idea what to do upstairs.
Yeah.
But then she put out a post, which was, hey guys, I want to show you guys what I do as a beginner in the gym. I'm not very big. I'm not very advanced. I don't have big muscles like my dad here. So I don't need to spend that much time. Exactly what I'm saying. I don't need to spend that much time training with huge amounts of volume on each muscle group. All I need to do is just a few sets on the 4 main movement patterns. And they are the squat, the deadlift, the push, and the pull. So she showed a video of her doing, it was just a back squat, a deadlift, conventional deadlift, I don't know, like an incline dumbbell press and a lat pull down.
Yeah.
And that was like, here's a basis for you guys. 3 sets on each. The session should last 30 to 45 minutes, right? So that guy, he was an adult. He would have been 40 something years old,
Yep.
is benefiting from that. So it's like, oh wow, this is something that my daughter put out there, and we were trying to target people her age, or a lot of people, so people my age who have children,
Yep.
that are in the same shoes, that are like, oh, you know what, I want to introduce it to my children. I don't know if it's okay.
Yeah.
How can I do it?
Mm.
So that's who it was originally intended for. But it's like, there are a lot of beginners that have no idea what they're doing.
Yep.
And
you see it in the gym all the time, right? You walk around and as Will said, it's after school care, and you're just like, what are these kids doing in here?
Yeah, well, that's the fact.
They're just having a good time, though.
They love it.
Yeah.
They do. But it's like, there's so many things that, like, I'd love to say, hindsight, if I was to go back then and I was doing it properly, I'd be world champion, whatever. I don't know, because I think that we learn a lot from our mistakes.
100%.
And I think we become so good at what we are because we made so many mistakes back in the day. So sometimes I say, you know what, don't worry about the mistakes you made. That's why you're who you are today. But at the same time, I know that I've worked with beginners and gotten them to a certain level in a fraction of the time that it took me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, it took me probably about 10 years as in the industry as well, to squat 2 times body weight for the first time.
Yeah.
Right. That was when I was 90 kilos. So I squatted 180 kilograms, and that took me 10 years to do.
You'll see a 16-year-old squatting 180 kilos now. It's just nuts.
And the rest.
Yeah.
And the rest. But it's like things like that, if you know what you're doing, you can definitely accelerate your gains really quickly.
Yeah.
But the fact of it is this: I see so many people come and go from the sport because they're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Right. So my number one priority, there's learning how to move on all the fundamental movement patterns, which are those ones: the squat, the bend, the push, and the pull.
Yeah.
What's the bend?
The bend?
Hinge.
It's an exercise that you quite like, William. The one that you beat me on in the last competition.
Oh, that
I was
one.
thinking,
Hinge. Yeah.
Bendy. I was going to bend over.
The one where you bend over and pick up 387.5 kilos.
That's the one.
That one. Remember?
Yeah, just.
But yeah, the bend pattern, and call it what you like. Bend pattern, the hinge pattern.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I also call it posterior chain as well, because there's other exercises in that category that isn't bending, such as like knee flexion exercises as well. So we got systemized approach with all our programming where we have categories of movement as you get more and more advanced. But that's the fundamental. So it's learn how to move before you start thinking about going to failure and getting DOMs and all of these things. And it doesn't actually take that long. But if you do that first, it's like learning a new language. This is how I teach it. It's like learning a new language. When you want to go to a new country and you've got to learn the language, you're not going to learn how to string sentences together. You're going to learn the fundamental words that are going to get you by, hello, goodbye, my name is, thank you, please. The words that'll get you. Toilet, food, more steak, please.
Meat.
Toilet was my favorite one in Spain. You yell toilet at people and they're like, who's this guy?
In where? In Spain? Yeah. Right. What did you call it? Del toilet?
No, I
Baño.
mean,
Baño.
I knew the word, but it was only the word toilet. So it
Yes.
would have been, imagine if somebody came up to you on the street here and just went, toilet.
Yeah. True.
It wasn't a sentence. It was just a word.
Totally.
But yeah.
Totally. But I compare that to learning how to train in the gym.
Yes.
It's like you don't need to come in and do all of these amazing fancy protocols that we think is advanced, because that's how I used to be. I want to be advanced, so I'm going to train the advanced way. What are those advanced methods? Drop sets, wave loading, bands, chains, all of these things. And that's what I teach people, how to really simplify it. So not worry about fancy protocols, whole body style of training. And then with that, you can start to decide, whether you want to go down the aesthetics part, the strength part. But what I try and do is, when I'm working with anybody, I try and get underneath what they actually enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Because if you enjoy it, you're going to stick to it. If you hate it, if you're just doing it because I'm telling you powerlifting is awesome and you're going to be awesome if you're a powerlifter, and you don't like it, those are the people that
you're not going to put the effort in.
You're not going to put the effort in, and you're not going to do it for 10 years. So yeah, that's probably one of the highest priorities when I'm trying to teach someone how to lift, is to enjoy what they're doing. Yeah. And it's not just teaching them how to lift, it's the style of training that they want to be getting into. Yeah. And I know that that's what changed my love for weight training, was getting stronger, because of the objective measurement, the objective progressions in my training was the main reason.
But that's what you enjoyed.
Exactly.
But if enjoyment is effort, obviously different people are going to enjoy different things. Like what are the aspects of the training with your daughter that she enjoys? Like, what does she tell you that she enjoys about it?
It's a similar thing. I'd say that a large part of it is, the time that she gets to spend with her dad.
Yes.
Right. So that is a
You
nice
hope
thing.
so.
Of course,
Yep.
she says so, but we'll have to take her word for it for now. But also it's the accolade. So she, I do have a semi-decent following on social media, and sometimes we'll go to restaurants or we'll go out for lunch or whatever, and people will come up to us and say, "Hey, Australian strength coach, follow
a
you."
bit of fame,
right?
Yeah.
And then they come up to her and they know her name. "Hey, Tiani, I'm proud of
They
you."
don't know your name, but they
No, they know. Well, they think my name's Australian strength coach. That's right. They don't know my name.
pull out
Yeah.
a birth certificate.
Yeah, exactly. But they come up to her and they say, "Hey, Tiani, I'm proud." I don't know why they say those things, but a number of people have said those same things. "Hey, Tiani, I'm so proud of you." It's like, fair,
Yeah.
sweet.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah, sure. But those are the things that she walks off. She's so elevated for the rest of the day. And she's like,
Check me out, Dad. Yeah.
Totally. She wants to continue training. And something else as well, which I think is really strange, but the vanity on these young girls. I never realized it started then. I didn't give a shit about it back in that time. Like I had a 6-pack and I say, abs on a skinny guy doesn't count.
Yeah.
Like tits on a fat chick. It's a comparison that we use, right?
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say this on this channel?
Go for
I
it.
said a lot worse.
Okay. So for me, that's all I thought it was about. Like growing up at school, I just didn't eat. I didn't see the value. As you're saying, people go to the gym at that age, people look at you funny. Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
That's right. Why are you doing that?
It's a very different world now.
Yeah. It's a totally different world, but that's right. And now I'm starting to see that, especially with girls. Well, I was at an all boys school, so I wasn't privy to the information that the young girls were talking about until now. And something that I do like is they talk about getting thicker. Like she wants to put on weight.
Yep.
She doesn't want to get skinnier.
Interesting.
Every day she comes in and steps on the scales. And I had one of my members, she said to me, "Your daughter steps on the scales. I saw her doing that every day that she came in. I don't know if it's healthy." And I'm like, she's trying to put on weight.
Yeah.
Like she's not trying to lose weight.
Yeah.
Like, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
You know?
She wants that thick thighs.
She wants the thick thighs. She wants the booty.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know if it's appropriate talking about on this channel, but the way that she talks to her friends is so dumb.
Yeah.
They're like, "Is my bum getting bigger?" and my daughter tells her friend who doesn't have any size, they're just skinny people. She's like,
little girls.
"Oh, your bum's massive." And they're like, "Thanks." And I'm like, it is not massissive. You know what I mean? You girls are tiny little girls. But the fact that they're talking about it at this age.
Yeah. Enjoying it.
Yeah. So
in a positive lens rather than like degrading each other or anything like that.
Well, totally. But that's right. They're not trying to be skinny now, which I think is a really nice shift. People do understand that it is healthy to have, they want to put on a little bit of weight. They want to put on, and they're not scared of getting a little bit fatter. It's all about health. It's all about being healthy. So the awareness of that, I don't know if it's just my daughter and her group that I'm talking about, and they have some type of influence by what I do. But I do think that it is, on the whole, it's definitely raised the awareness.
Yeah. Of being strong is definitely like being sexier now as well. Yeah.
Totally. So that's why she that's the two main reasons why she loves it. A, hang out with me, and B, the accolade. So I will admit, a lot of the times that she trains, she'll say, "Dad, can we finish?"
Yeah.
She does say that. And I take it on board and I'll say, all right, one more set, because I don't want her to hate it.
And also, there's probably no effort past that point anyway, even if you did push it.
Exactly. You don't need to smash
any of your athletes, really.
Yeah, that's right. But and that's what I teach people when you're first starting with training children. Attention span is a thing. So when I first started training my daughter at 6 or 7 years old, our sessions would last for about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Before she's like, "I don't want to do any more. See you later. I'm going to go and play over here."
Yeah.
And it's like, fine, that's 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the next time we work to 5 minutes, and then we work to 10 minutes, and we progress from there.
Yeah.
And this is what I teach people. Stop forcing, like if you want your children to train, stop forcing them, make them enjoy it. And the same principle applies for adults. You make someone do something that they hate doing, they're not going to put the effort or the time into it to actually get good at it.
100%. Yeah. I think we'll start to wrap that up there. Unless there was anything else you wanted to go on.
No, I guess the only thing
keep talking.
Would be
we'll be here for hours.
When you, I think we'll finish it up with when you went to live with Thor.
Yeah,
in Iceland, just briefly. How long?
I've done it many times. So from 2016, I went to his house. Probably the longest was about, I think, 8 weeks.
Yeah.
But we do it a few times a year, depending on the competition.
So like a couple months on average. But like, what did you manage to keep up with the eating? That would be my thing. Is that because like I just can't imagine.
Or is
how much
he one of
food goes
those
through that
guys
house.
that is just like a big human being
It
that
has
doesn't
to be
have
that
to
as
eat
well.
enough? Like Dylan Hellriegel, for example, he's a big dude, but he actually doesn't have to eat a lot of food to maintain his size. It's
Man, that always pissed me off. Hey?
yeah.
Odell Manuel's the same. He says he eats 4,000 calories at his.
Dylan was
at
the
his
same.
peak.
Yeah. Nuts.
And then I'm here shoveling down 7,000 calories to try and get to 120.
Yeah,
but different.
No, Thor does eat a lot.
Yeah.
And he tries to get me to keep up with him. We've actually done a YouTube video
Oh, really?
where I did it for a day. So I ate, it's the most I've ever done in my life. It was 8,000 whatever odd calories. And it was okay. So the nature of the nutrition that he eats, the food choices that he has, is from stand efforting.
Yep.
So vertical diet, if you guys are familiar with it, the idea of the vertical diet is to eat food that is easily digestible so that you can eat more.
That's fairly healthy. So there'd be a lot of food.
It's a lot of food, but you eat a meal and it's like the main meal. So it's like white rice over potato because potato takes longer to digest. It's better for weight loss. But for gain, white rice, even the vegetables, low oligosaccharides. So it's like red capsicum, spinach,
all
carrots, right? But not broccoli because that makes you gassy and farty. And it's like, so it's not that it's bad for you. Of course it's not bad for you, but it just makes you fuller. So you'd eat a meal there and then 2 hours later, you're not hungry. I was never hungry. Yeah. But you could eat another meal. I had to force myself. Yeah. But he forces himself as well. For sure. I'll tell you something about Thor. A lot of people say it's the genetics thing. Yes, of course. You can't deny that. He's 6'9".
He's a giant. Yeah.
He's a giant, but I've never seen anyone work harder than him ever. He leaves no stones unturned, and that's how he would be with me. And it was quite hard as well. Because when he's on a diet, and I'm around him, he talks to me like, "Why aren't you doing this as well?" And it's like, "Well, if you fucking weren't training this, you wouldn't be doing it either. You'd be eating, you know." And so
very different.
Yeah, he does. Like, but he said it to me after eating like that for a day.
Yeah,
he said to me, "Do you think if you ate like this every day, you'd be stronger?" I'm like, "Without a doubt." And he's like, "Well, why don't you do it?" I'm like, you know, I do want to be stronger, but at the same time, I don't want to do this every day. You know what I mean?
It is a hard question. Yeah,
it is a hard question to say because the real answer is because I don't have the work
care
ethic
as much as you do.
Yeah, I don't care as much, or I don't have the work ethic.
Well, you've got different priorities. You've got family.
I've
all
got
that stuff we're talking
such
about.
different values. Like if I thought I was in contention for number one on the planet, that's a whole lot of motivation. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, like after that conversation that I had with him, that's when I started eating. And that's when I got to 120 kilos. It's like, that's a confronting question. Why don't you do it? It's like, well, what if I do it? What if I do try? So I started stuffing my face to the point where it was actually unhealthy. I was snoring while I was awake.
Yes.
Walking across the road was a chore because I get such debilitating back pump.
Yeah. 120 was that point for me.
Yeah.
It was just too much.
It's not nice, right?
Yeah. You guys are similar heights and stuff as well. So
it sounds about the same.
Round.
Yeah. So he does eat a lot. He doesn't. He's not one of those guys that doesn't have to train or work to get that. Actually, when he started strongman, I think he was 110 kilograms as a basketball player. He was a good basketball player. He was in the Icelandic, one of the top teams over there, which a lot of people say attributes to his athleticism as a strongman.
Yeah.
He moves well for a big guy in strongman. And can you imagine him at 110 kilograms?
Yeah.
You know,
it's like a string bean.
Well, I can as a basketball player.
Exactly. But that's So for him to get to 200 kilograms is a lot of work actually, and a lot of people think he doesn't have to work for that. He's the hardest worker of everyone that I've met, and I know you know Hattie Boydell how hard she works.
Yeah, she's always one of the references we use for hard work.
Totally, and I'd say that she's up there as well, but. I don't want to say anyone's better than anyone, but I will say Thor's up. Exactly.
If you put both of them in a room, could you imagine the competitive drive that would come out of each of them? Like Hattie would just do everything to keep up with him. Yeah. That's the sort of attitude that I see in her. Of like, as she's surrounded by someone like that, she'll be like, "Fuck this, I want to keep up too."
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's a large part to, they say you're the average of the 5 people you associate with most. So that's what would absolutely happen. And that's how it was with me when I was with Thor.
Yeah.
All that stuff is rubbing off. So
train hard.
Train hard, work hard, put everything into it. Sleep.
Yeah.
all of the types of recovery that he does, like how much he prioritizes every part of his life to do these things. Like I've learned so much as a coach, as an athlete, just by coaching him.
Yeah.
You know, teaching people what work ethic is actually about. And I'm his coach, but he teaches me as much, and I'd say even more about life than what I've taught him.
Yeah.
You know, and that is right. The work ethic, it rubs off majorly, and you know, being associated. That's why I love these gyms. Like, you know, the amount of people that come to my gym that are just strong, like-minded. I'm sure you get to meet the same types of people. You just, you know, you're just confronted by just people that are strong and like-minded, and people like yourself that you wouldn't have if you weren't this strong. You know,
I reckon it'd be sick if you guys could like go back in time, and then, I mean, it'd be different because obviously you were competing against each other, but also to be training alongside each other, and that competitiveness, how that would come through in your training.
I'll tell you now, some people, like, we're in weightlifting. We're not fighting each other.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I never, like, every time I competed against Will, I came and give him a big bro hug and thank him for pushing me to be this strong. Because if he wasn't there, like, I'm watching him train, and it's like, if he wasn't there and I wasn't watching him, I probably wouldn't be as strong as what I was.
Because definitely same.
You know, I'd look at that, and that's what I used to say to you. I'd come and thank you for making me this strong. You know, because if there was no one, if you're just competing against average people, you don't know, like, your ceiling is a lot lower.
Yeah, 100%.
So I would. You know, the fact is that you are in Queensland.
Yeah.
You know, and I am in Sydney, but every time you're here, I'd like to think that you'd come here and train, and vice versa. You know, we're not, and that's what I think. A lot of people that are enemies in strength sports.
Yeah.
Like there was a famous
enemies
case.
on the day.
Yeah.
Well, enemies on the day. Yeah. It's like fighting. Like you see every time, like these people are at each other's faces at the weigh-ins or whatever, and then post-fight they're like, hey.
Everyone's hugging.
Yeah.
It's the same
I
shit.
think everyone thought there was beef between the two of you as well. Just
competitiveness.
Yeah. Across the room, fuck that guy. And then at the end of it, he's like, hey man, all right, we're friends now.
That's what it always
we
is.
can be friends.
Did you ever get a little bit of FOMO, just quickly to finish? Did you ever get a little bit of FOMO from Thor and be like, I'm going to do some strongman? Because I would. I think I would. I would come back a strongman for sure.
Yes and no. But the reason I say no, like, yeah, I love it, but no, my body's not cut out for that.
Yeah.
Like strongman
carrying
is
stuff.
Brutal, man.
Yeah.
It is brutal. And I don't know, maybe it's my age. Like I met him, you know, 2016. What was I, 35? I don't know the age thing, but right now my body is a lot more sore in general. I take a lot longer to warm up in general than when I was younger. Yeah. So maybe that contributes to the pain, like picking up those heavy. I've done truck pulls with him.
Yeah.
I've done, you know, yoke and frame with him.
Yeah.
That's
the
only time.
awkwardness.
It's so awkward. It just hurts.
Yeah.
Like grabbing these
takes
things.
so bloody long to set up and stuff like that as well. Like you think your sessions take long when you squatting and deadlifting. It's like
that's what stops me. Yeah, it's the logistics of it.
Setting it all up.
Like you're a big technique person, and in powerlifting you can be super technical, but then sometimes like picking up a fucking rock, you're like, I don't know.
That's the fact of it. So not only am I really technical, like if you look at the equipment here, all of this is the stuff that we use in competition. The exact barbells, the exact benches and monolifts. I bought what I was going to use in that competition. I bought that piece so I could train on that.
Yeah.
You got a strong man.
You can't have
that. You're warming up your deadlifts, sharing, you know, one shitty barbell with 10 lifters.
I kind of like it though.
On dirt.
Yeah.
Like literally it's outdoors. It's like you got to go over there. They had a squat rack. There's none of this racks in luxury. So they're all jamming their fingers on the squat rack because none of them can hold the bar inside, right? And so they're all jamming their fingers, and the maximum weight, they were only bumper plates. So the squat weight in competition is about
like 250 or 300 or something.
No. The 250 was the max you could warm up with.
Yeah.
And that's the top weight to warm up with, but then you'd have to go straight to 320.
Yeah.
So that's how everyone had it. And I've seen people, I don't know if you've heard of Rob Kearney, world's strongest gay.
Yep.
This guy had one warm-up set. I think he had like 60 kilograms. This was in one of the Arnold's qualifiers in Canada. 60 kilograms was his warm-up. They're all waiting for the one rack. There's 10 competitors all waiting for the one rack. He came on, he had his turn, 60 kilograms, and then they said, Rob Kearney's up next.
Yeah.
And he's like, 320 kilograms. And he's like,
okay.
Walks off.
Yeah.
and reps it out.
Yeah.
No complaints.
Crazy.
No, I'd be pissing and moaning. It's like, hey, how are these athletes supposed to work in these conditions?
Yeah.
None of that.
Yeah.
They just get on with it.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why I don't think I could be a strong man. I'm too precious. Come on.
I've coached a heap of strong men. Like, and then we'll be like, okay, these are the events. These are the 5 events. We'll plan for it. You know, trainings around that. And then a week out, they're like, we're not going to bother with that anymore. We're going to do this instead. I was like,
What do you mean?
Change the
Yeah, that's right.
events. Yeah.
Yep.
It always
Yeah, that
did my head in.
equipment changed.
Even as a
order.
coach, I was like, this is not it.
Yeah.
As a powerlifting elitist, you
Yeah.
look at that going, how the hell can you do that? But that's what these guys, that's all they know. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
It
it's
is very
crazy that
different.
that's a little bit more
Toughens
widely
you up.
accepted. We're doing some strongman stuff in our like our
Townsville.
Townsville gym up there, and we're hoping to sort of venture into that a little bit more into our coaching and stuff as well. Open the pathway, because I think and this is something we've done previous episodes on, but I think each sport can learn something from each other. They kind of like to think that they're all very, very different, but at the end of the day, it's still strength training, and there's something that each person can learn from the other sport. So,
No doubt.
yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Well, I think
There's so much more we could talk about, but we'll leave it there.
Yes, we'll leave it there.
I don't even know
We'll
where
do
we're
some more. We'll do some more episodes down the track, perhaps after we come back from our honeymoon and stuff. We might do some more recordings. But you want a bench, and you've
Yeah,
been
I'll
dragged
try.
to bench, maybe.
I'm happy to bench anytime.
You'll be repping out more than what Will's doing today.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know about that.
All right. Thank you very much for jumping on with us, Bass.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll see it all then. Thank you for listening to the Nexus Unloaded podcast. Be sure to jump on our website to find details on everything mentioned in the podcast today, plus information on our coaching, mentoring, and gyms based in the Gold Coast and Townsville. Make sure you follow us on our Instagram for any updates on what we are currently doing, and we'll see you all in the next episode.